Apple, Microsoft, and Sony. You guys always say you never steal your ideas from Nintendo, but with this backwards compatibility spiel coming out, you know, what with the Xbox One being backwards compatible, and now Sony working on a PlayStation 2 emulator, I find it extremely hard to believe that backwards compatibility hasn't been a thought to these companies for quite some time. Believe it or not, yes, Sony confirmed that they were making efforts to put PlayStation 2 emulation on the PlayStation 4. Yep, so it's coming. It's a-coming. Now, what does this exactly mean? And I want to talk about it for a little bit. So, Sony, traditionally, with the PlayStation 2, included a free backwards compatibility emulator packed in with every single PlayStation 2 to play PlayStation 1 games. I thought that was one of the greatest things and greatest strategies ever. People usually argue that they don't want to play their old systems and they put their old systems up, and it's an extreme inconvenience to have to pull out an old game system just to play one or two games and wish that their current console that was hooked up to their television or PC or whatever was backwards compatible so that they didn't have to pull out wires and things of that nature. Now, the other argument is that people don't want to play old games and they want to move to the future. I can agree with both of these arguments and understand where both people are coming from, but I tend to lean on the side that if you invested a crap load of money into games, then you should be able to play those games and not have to just throw it away, lock it away, or trade it in for the new, hottest system. You should be able to play your games anytime you want. And yeah, you can keep your console, but you shouldn't have to pull out 7 different consoles to play 1 or 2 games on each individual console if they're backwards compatible. Now, the only reason that I'm always weird about Sony on this is because they have a tradition of being really crappy with backwards compatibility. Like, when the PlayStation 3 launched, they had 2 versions of it that were backwards compatible, and I believe that was the 40GB and the 80GB models. And again, they were very expensive. So, the 20GB and 60GB models weren't backwards compatible, I believe, which was really, really weird. And I'm not really understanding why they did it that way. Maybe it was something to do with the hardware, I don't know. But as later entries in the PlayStation 3 came out, they dropped the backwards compatible completely. So, you know, no more PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1. And now they're talking about just putting a PlayStation 2 emulator on a PlayStation 4. Now, I'm not saying that's not great news. That's wonderful news. That would actually make me go out and buy a PlayStation 4. Because currently I have my PlayStation 2 hooked up with component cables to my giant flat screen TV. And even though many of the games play and work well on it, I would definitely love to have a PlayStation 4 instead of having a separate PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 2. But that means that they're not making PlayStation 3 games backwards compatible or PlayStation 1. They're just talking about a PlayStation 2 one. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is that there's already working PlayStation 2 emulators out there. To a T, almost. There are games that you can play on an emulator. It is not illegal to own an emulator. It is not illegal to play the games on an emulator, especially if you own the games. It's a gray area if you never bought the games or never owned the system, but 9 times out of 10, if you own the games and you own the system, you can emulate it. You can play it as long as you're not distributing it for free or a profit, rather. Different states, different laws, different countries, different laws. Generally speaking, from my understanding, if you bought the original system and you bought the original game, you're gonna be okay to play it on the computer. There's no reason that you can't have a backup. A lot of people don't really understand that. A lot of people think it's a gray area, think it's illegal 100%. But obviously Sony's working on their own emulator, so they'd be breaking their own laws. Oh, Proto, that's stupid. They can't break their own laws. Exactly. They can't break their own laws. They can't break their own rules. So when they make themselves an emulator, they aren't going to send themselves to prison or sue themselves. So with these working emulators out there, there's going to be no questioning about it that it's probably going to work. And because of the more updated x86 architecture of the consoles now, I can't imagine that they wouldn't be able to get these emulators working smoothly and well. The Xbox 360 emulator works great on the Xbox One. I'm extremely surprised it works so good. I was thinking that it was going to be sluggish, laggy, and just all-around bad, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I hope I am pleasantly surprised by this. I hope that they come out with a PlayStation 2 emulator that also works with PlayStation 1 games. As far as PlayStation 3 games is concerned, I don't think that will ever happen, and if it does, I would be extremely surprised. So what's your thoughts? And leave them in the comments below. I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. Good gaming, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. And now, the important decision of joining the Maverick Rebellion. We are a tight group of individuals who rebel against stereotypes and greater evils that are commonly accepted. ISPs, children being conned out of games, sexism in video games, enough is enough, and the Mavericks have had it. If you choose to subscribe, or stay subscribed, you are joining the fight against injustice by watching my numerous video topics, from net neutrality to publishers covering up botched releases. The Mavericks are always informed on the issues plaguing your gaming experience today. So don't be left out in the cold, and don't let those people keep you down. Join the Maverick Rebellion today and become a member of the community that will listen and engage with you. What are you waiting for? Just click subscribe and you'll be in good company. Mavericks unite!